In this video, I will talk about how to use TK in Perl. Okay, so TK, by the way, is a widget that allows you to create GUI applications in Perl. Okay, to give you an example, I have here a file that will do just that. Okay, so if you double click this .pl file, it will show a GUI form created using Perl TK. Okay, so to be able to use TK, you need to install first TK by typing this command in the command prompt. Okay, for example, okay, so this allows your Perl to have access to all the TK libraries. Okay, and after that, you should be able to run any GUI applications in Perl. Okay, so first, let's go back to this example Java program, because we're going to integrate this Java program later in our Perl TK. So as you can see here, this Java program creates an XML file, okay, and then using print line, all the text here will be inside this XML file. Okay, so I'm going to embed all of this in my Perl program. Okay, I have here the example. Okay, so as you can see here, using the TK library we just installed, okay, I have here all the Java libraries, as you can see here. Okay, these are all the Java IO libraries, so that we can create a file, an XML file. And then using inline Java, you should be able to integrate a Java code or class inside Perl. So in this section you have Perl, and then you have Java. Okay, so you also need to install inline Java to be able to do this. So if you don't have any inline Java installed yet, simply type this command in the command prompt. Okay, so just type this one like that. Okay, and make sure you have internet connection, because all the files needs to be downloaded so that your Perl can integrate Java in its code. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the entire Java program, except I added some modifications, because as you can see here, this program uses an argument, so that when you create an exe file out of this Java program, the exe file will require an input in the form of arguments in the command line. Okay, so since we won't be needing that, or we won't be creating an exe here in Perl, okay, I simply remove the arguments here in the main, and then I created and placed the code. As you can see, the entire code here is placed in the constructor. Okay, so since our class is called createFile2, I created a constructor called createFile2 with one parameter. Okay, and I changed the variable here, since this is an argument. Okay, I change it to the parameter every time you call this constructor. Okay, so that's it. That's the changes I made in the Java program. Let's go to Perl this time. Okay, so I have here a TK GUI window. Okay, so this one, by the way, is because we're going to use our TK library. So you should be able to create a window similar to what you saw here. This is a window with a specific dimension. Okay, so this is 400 by 200 pixel. Okay, so 400 is the width. Okay, 200 is the height of the window. And then our window will be given a title, Perl XML Java Creator. Okay, this one will be shown in the window title bar. Okay, so MW here, by the way, is simply creating an instance of this. Okay, so you can now use MW, okay, which is a form, and specify its attributes like geometry and title. Okay, so using this variable now, this is by the way a variable. Okay, so if you saw something like this in Perl, okay, this is an array. Okay, so this one is a variable. Okay, so we have here, we're now going to use MW, okay, which is our form, and inside the form we're going to create a label. Okay, so this is a label widget. Okay, this is, by the way, is called a widget. Inside our form we're going to insert a widget. Okay, a widget with a text, enter name. Okay, so this is what it will look like. Okay, so let me run the program. Okay, so let me use command line instead. Okay, so this one is our title bar. Okay, it's because of this. Okay, and then we have here a label, enter file name, this one, enter file name. Okay, and then it's going to be assigned to this variable. Okay, so everything that this label will do, you can change its text. For example, while the program is running, you can simply use this variable. Okay, and the purpose of pack here, okay, you can simply specify inside this parenthesis the position, okay, where you wish this label to appear. You can position this label in this form's left, right, or center. Okay, you can position this anywhere simply by specifying the parameter here. Okay, so using MW again, which is our forms variable. Okay, this is our form, which is this one. Okay, this one, we're going to include an input box, okay, which is this one. Okay, input box in Perl TK is called entry. Okay, and then we're going to assign it to a variable called $ent. Okay, so the my here, by the way, is a way to initialize a variable. So this is optional, so our program will still run even without my. Okay, but if you include a use strict here, okay, if you include a use strict, okay, this will prompt you to include a my after declaring a variable. Okay, so we have here a button, assigning it to a variable $bat. Okay, so this is our button. Okay, and then we're going to include a text similar to what happens here. Hyphen text creates a text in the button. Okay, and then this button will have some interaction. Every time you click this button, it will perform a procedure which is called push button. So push button here is a subroutine that will be called every time you click the button. Okay, so same thing here, we have back. Okay, so by the way, this one okay, is assigned to the same variable, you can just do something like this. Okay, it will work either way. Okay, okay, so next we have the subroutine push button, which will be called every time you click the button. Okay, so we have here a comment. This will simply use the $ENT variable, which is our input box, this one. Okay, so it will get the value of whatever it is being typed here, okay, and then store it to this variable. So as you can see, we have my. Every time you use my, you're simply declaring a new variable, so you don't have to use my again. Okay, if you're going to use this variable like this, okay, so my is only every time you initialize a variable or declare. Okay, so using $B now, since $B holds the value of this text box, we're now going to check if $B is equals to null. Okay, so meaning if you don't input anything here, you click this button, it will execute the following statements. Okay, so we have here $ENT. $ENT, by the way, is the input box, this one. So ENT is our input box. We're going to change its text. Okay, so there are currently no value inside this text, so we're going to insert something. Okay, since this input box is called ENT. Okay, in this case we have here, okay, a value 0. 0 means, okay, we're going to insert this text, dili pwede blank, in the first in the row 0, column 0. Okay, so you can do something like, for example, 1.0, meaning row 1, column 0. Okay, so you can specify which position this text will be inserted, okay, depending on the value that you type here. So since this is 0, okay, it will insert this text in the first column and first row. Okay, and then another comment. Next is we're going to change the value of our button, since the current text, okay, in the button is create XML. This will be changed to delete pwede blank. Okay, so this is how you change the button's text. Okay, so it will show delete pwede blank here and delete pwede blank in this button if you don't type anything here. Okay, so let me click the button now. As you can see, it will show the text that is being executed here. Okay, else, but if this condition is false, it will perform the following. Okay, so the first statement creates an instance of this class. So this class is called createFile2. Okay, so we're going to call this constructor, assigning a parameter. Okay, as you can see, we're calling the constructor with a parameter $B. So what is $B? $B is the value of our ENT variable, okay, which is an input box, which is this one. So whatever it is that you type here will be assigned to this variable, and then we're going to get that text and assign it to this variable. Okay, so this variable will become a parameter which will be assigned to this variable fn. So we're going to create a file in drive C, okay, with a file name that you type here in the input box. Okay, so this is how we create an instance of the class here in Java. Okay, next we're going to change the value of this button again. to create XML once you type a value here. Okay, so let's look into the result of this program. Okay, so as you can see, whatever it is you type here, okay, an XML file will be created, which is all of this. Okay, so the entire Java program is integrated inside Perl. Okay, so if you look at the XML file, okay, it is this one. Okay, so we just created it. Okay, so next example. Okay, so I have here a program, okay, taken from this website. I have an XML file, okay, which is saved here, this one. Okay, this is the XML file, this one. And then we have a Java program. Okay, this Java program will simply read the contents of the XML file. Okay, so this XML file will be shown using system out print line. Okay, so I copy this entire code. Okay, let me show you the example. Okay, this one. Okay, so you have here all the libraries. Okay, all the libraries, okay, except for the void main. Okay, this is the void main. So I did not place all of this code inside the void main because I need to create an instance of this class and get the value that will result after calling the class. Okay, so as you can see, I placed all of this starting from try up to here, catch, inside a method. Okay, so this method is called read XML. Okay, so there is no statement inside the void main, and then I have here a method called read XML. I copied everything, as you can see. Okay, I added some additional changes like the path. Okay, it will use this file, this one. It will use this file. Okay, and then I simply created a variable. Okay, starting here. Okay, starting here, I assigned all of this thing to a variable. Okay, instead of system out print line. Okay, this one. So instead of system out print line, which will return the output to a console, I simply stored everything to a string. Okay, and then I added another content with this string. We'll simply concatenate another string. Okay, and it will simply accumulate all the values. Okay, as you can see here. So I simply perform /n, okay, so that it will move the next output in the next line. Okay, so those are the changes I made here, and then that's the entire Java code or Java class. And then I'm going to use the TK library, okay, to create a GUI widget. So I have here the form, okay, the size, the dimension, and then the title bar, Okay, I have a label. Okay, I have, okay, so this one, by the way, is a multi-text. Okay, that will show multiple columns of text. So I'm using this widget to display all of this, to display the entire contents of the XML file. I'm using this widget. Okay, so we have here a width and height. So this is how many characters are going to be shown in the width, and then 15 characters will be shown, okay, as the height of this widget called text. Okay, and I'm assigning it to this variable. Okay, MW is the form. Okay, that is where this widget will be created inside the form, assigning it to this variable. And then we have a button that once you click, it will execute this subroutine. Okay, so we have here a pack. Okay, this pack does not specify any position where the label will appear, so it will simply be shown centered. Okay, same with this one, the input box, except for the button. So if I show you the output of this, okay, so as you can see, okay, we have here the label, which is this one, XML contents. We have here the text, which is this one. This is where the XML file contents will appear. And then we have a button, which is this one. So the purpose of having a pack, giving it some values, this widget or button will appear, or will always appear at the bottom. Okay, so as you can see, it shows at the bottom. If I maximize the form, it will still appear here. Okay, if you remove this, okay, save the program, run it again, it will show the button, okay, without any specific position. Okay, it will just align and center it, okay, sa previous widget. Okay, so that's the purpose of having a pack. Okay, okay, so that's the difference. Okay, and then by clicking the button, okay, it will execute this subroutine. I created an instance of the Java class called Java Read XML, which is this one. Okay, I created an instance of this class, Java Read XML, and then I simply called the method. Okay, since I assigned the entire Java class to this variable obj, I can now use this variable and call the method. The method, by the way, is this one, read XML. So I'm calling this method. Okay, and since by calling this method, okay, it will return a string, as you can see here. Okay, the variable that this method will return is xmlstr, which is the entire content, okay, or output of this, because instead of system out print line, I change it to, or assign the entire string to a variable. Okay, so by calling this method, I will now get the value xmlstr, this one. Okay, and then I'm going to assign it to ent. So using insert, I'm getting the entire string of this, assigning it to $ent. So $ent, by the way, is this one. Okay, the text widget. Okay, so this text widget is called $ent. Okay, that is where the contents or the result of this method will show. Okay, so if I click read XML, as you can see, I executed this method, this sub push button subroutine, and shows the contents of the XML file. So if I show you this XML file, okay, it should give you the same string, as you can see here. Okay, first name, okay, last name, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is how you use inline Java and TK at the same time. Okay, so that's it for now.